one other win that is coming out of the White House, and I hope that Congress will codify this, and so we don't just leave it as an executive order, but the White House is preparing a new executive order against targeting or order on targeting banks that are targeting conservatives or crypto firms or religious organizations. This is ESG. And we know that they were doing this. We have evidence that they were doing this. We have victims that it was done to. And we don't have all of the information yet, but there's some real enforcement coming. And this is a huge victory for this audience, because this audience was the first that took on ESG. I mean, nobody believed it. Remember, we came out with the Great Reset, Justin Haskins and I. We put that book out and we came out against it, and nobody believed it. Nobody believed it was true. Nobody understood it. It was this audience that moved and got so many people involved and started passing state laws, et cetera, et cetera. And now there's an executive order on it. And we have Justin Haskins here to talk a little bit about it. He is the co-author of my book, The Great Reset, and what was the other one? Dark Future. So, Justin, welcome. How are you?
Among others, yes.
Among others, I know. So, Justin, this is a big, big win for anybody who is, who knows what ESG is and wanted it stopped.
Yeah, the weaponization of the financial sector in the United States and really in the entire West was the key to the whole Great Reset plan of transforming the global economy. It was how they were going to force everyone to move to the left, and they were doing it. We didn't just have individual examples. We had CEOs and internal policies, all of this on the record, very out in the open, saying we're going to, phase out certain gun owners, for example. We don't want gun shops. We don't want fossil fuels. We don't want any of these things. We're going to phase all of this out of the banking system. Well, that means you're going to destroy all these businesses. We know that they targeted individual people, including Donald Trump himself was targeted by numerous banks, not just one. JP Morgan Chase targeted Trump. Bank of America refused to do banking with him. Deutsche Bank also did this. So this was a huge, huge problem. It was the biggest part of the Great Reset. We've been fighting over this for years now, for something like 4 years. And finally, the Trump administration is taking action, and ESG in banking is dead, at least for now. It is dead.
At least, until it's codified, it's dead through executive order, which is better than nothing, but they've got to codify this. Remember, the banks will say, look, we were only doing what we were told we had to do because of, quote, reputational risk. So they would say to somebody like me, they could debank and they could say, we're not giving you a loan, and not explain why, but we would know why. And what they would be saying internally is it's a reputational risk because we're doing business with Glenn Beck. And Glenn Beck is against these things, which the government says they all have to be done. We could be in trouble with the government. We would be in trouble with our reputation and with the reputation that we have with the federal government. And so they would have to debank. That was the whole idea. They didn't have to want to do it. Many of them did, but they didn't have to want to do it. They would be required to do it by law through the federal government. And now it looks, do we have any clue? Have you heard anything that is in this actual executive order?
Yes. So it sounds like the executive order is going to come out today, if not today, tomorrow. There's been lots of leaks from various media talking about what's in it. I think there's a lot of incredible things in this. The Secretary of the Treasury is going to be required to create a whole set of new policies and regulations across the federal government that are going to deal with debanking moving forward into the future. All of that stuff you were just talking about, reputational risk, all of those policies are going to be stripped from regulatory agencies throughout the federal government. They're not going to be allowed to do that anymore. And I think one of the most overlooked parts of it that it's going to be incredibly important is there's going to be a vast investigation into everything that's already happened. And so regulators are going to go in, they're going to look at the politically driven debanking policies, And if any laws had been violated at all, they're going to go after them through the Justice Department, and they're going to punish these institutions or other regulatory agencies. They're going to punish these institutions for engaging in discrimination in the past, because some of these cases involved Christian organizations and other religious-based groups. Well, those were illegal, but we think with the laws that were on the books under the Biden administration, they were illegal, but we think that some of that was going on too. So there's going to be a chilling effect here, I think. A long-lasting chilling effect, because if you're a financial institution, even if some future Democrat president comes to you and says, hey, we really want you to do this, we want you to move in this direction, they'll have to look back and say, well, geez, yeah, but if someone like Trump comes back into the White House again, we could be investigated and sued and fined, and potentially people could go to prison if we do this. So I don't know if we want to do that again. So that is a huge, huge part of this. So do we need a law passed in Congress? 100%.
Yes.
Congress, where the heck are you? Why aren't you doing something on this already?
I know.
This is a huge win for us so far. Huge win for people who support freedom. And this audience deserves so much credit for it. You and your team do, Glenn. Without you, none of this would have happened. I truly believe that. Without Ricky and Sarah and Jason, the whole team, none of this could have happened. And without this audience pushing for this at the state level, at the federal level, demanding action, making this a huge issue, I honestly think that this whole thing would have died, and no one would have cared about it, and we wouldn't be seeing this massive victory today.
You know what? Thank you for reminding me here, because I am so grateful for the audience every day. I see the impact that they make. But thank you for reminding me where I was when we first came up with it. You and I both. We were like, this can't be true. And then we realized, oh my gosh, this is all happening. We wrote The Great Reset. And at the end, right before we released it, I think you remember this, it was like, well, there's not really a happy ending here. And both of us, we had soul searched so long. We're like, I know, but I don't know if there's actually a way to stop this, because I'm not sure anybody's going to get it or care. Look at what happened, Justin. Nobody cared. Nobody understood it. Nobody believed it when we first wrote that book. It's incredible.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely incredible. And as we stand here today, not only are we talking about the most important part of the Great Reset dying, at least for now, dying, but think about all the other victories. Look, think about the cultural victories that we've had recently. These gigantic corporations are no longer these DEI institutions that they were before. The Sydney Sweeney ad is like the perfect example of that. Klaus Schwab has been thrown out of the World Economic Forum. He's not even in charge of it. His kids have been removed from the WEF. His top lieutenants are gone. This is incredible. From where we've started to where we are today has been nothing short of a massive, massive victory. And your audience deserves most of the credit.
Massive, massive miracle. Because nobody thought, I didn't think, if I said to you in 2023 that Trump was going to get elected, and within his first month, and I listed half of the stuff that he's done, the PBS and NPR would be defunded, that you wouldn't have to take your shoes off in the airport, that we would actually have hard evidence that shows us the actual members and leadership of the deep state, that ESG would be taking its last breath, debanking would be over. If I said that we were going to, I don't think I would have believed it. I wouldn't have believed it. In 6 months? No way.
No.
This guy's
amazing.
amazing.
I mean, you even have big look at big tech companies. Now big tech companies are suddenly fans of Donald Trump. They're working with him on the AI revolution. I mean, everything,
think of this.
The world has completely turned on its head.
What happened yesterday with Apple? Pat, how much was the investment coming from Apple yesterday?
$600 million.
$600 million to build chips here in America. I was told just 3 years ago, chips can't be made here in America. We'll never make chips in America. We're now funding billions of dollars in chip manufacturing here in America. We're bringing, and as much as everybody says, well, we can't bring jobs back to America, we have to bring jobs back to America. If we're not making chips and there is a disruption or a country that is hostile to us decides not to send us chips, we're done. If we don't move our medicine here to America and somebody hostile to us or there's a disruption, we're done, literally dead. Look at the progress that has just been made in the FDA and with RFK in just the last 6 months. Just this has been remarkable. It's
I
incredible.
think this is I think this is a great opportunity to remind people to be patient and to take stock of where we were not that long ago and where we are today. Obviously, a lot of conservatives don't agree with everything that Donald Trump is doing. I don't agree with everything that Donald Trump is doing. That's normal. That's fine. That is always the case. If you go back and look at Ronald Reagan, guess what, folks? There's a lot of stuff Ronald Reagan did that I think most people today would say was really bad. Really bad. But we all love Reagan because overall, he was a net massive good for the country. What Donald Trump has done so far, you didn't even mention border security, which I thought something would have never happened in my lifetime, ever.
I know.
What is happening right now is a complete transformation of society in America for the better. It's going to take time. All of these policies require that. But we are making huge progress in ways that we never thought were possible just a few years ago. We literally wrote a book called Dark Future. That's where we were at.
I know. And we hated it, but we really believed it. And look where we're at now. Justin, I want to have you on tomorrow because we didn't get a chance to talk about what's happening over in, is it Sweden, with the prime minister? This is massive and kind of leads to the dark future thing, and it's going to be happening everywhere. So can I have you back on tomorrow?
Of course.
Okay, good. Justin, thank you so much. Justin Haskins.
Thanks,
man. And you can follow Justin at where is it? JustinHaskins.com. So hard to remember. JustinHaskins.com.